Hey everybody, today we are talking about Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation by MXTX. This is the fifth and final installment of Grandmasters of Demonic Cultivation, and I just have to say that I really enjoyed reading this story. I was a little unsure that I'd be able to keep up with all the information and keep it straight and fully understand and comprehend what was going on, but it did get easier and better the more that I read, and then there were times where I couldn't even put the books down at all. I just wanted to keep reading. I would read close to 100 pages a day sometimes, and that's a lot for me. I take a long time to read most of the time, and so the fact that I was able to read so much at once was just a test, like just showing that for me, that meant that this book was really good and worth reading and worth my time. So I spent a lot of time just wanting to read them. In this fifth and final book, I was curious if it was going to leave off or start right where the fourth one left off, or if it was going to be jumping around at all, because some of the other books did that, where it started out when they were juniors again rather than the current timeline, and so we got some more backstory and stuff from the past, and this one started out right where the fourth one left off, which I appreciated, because at this point in the game we have got a lot of things unveiled to us, and it was just to the point where we just needed to know how the story was going to be resolved, how the issues were going to be hopefully fixed, and so I appreciated that it just started right off. Also, it kind of left on kind of a sour note, and I was hoping that this book would be able to get us off of that sour note and hopefully turn the tides and have things feeling a little bit better again. And that is exactly what happened. So I was really grateful for that. We didn't have to wonder too much if things were going to get better or not between Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian, but it turns out that things ended up being okay. And so basically what happens in this fifth one is that we get to the main final climax of the story of what is going to be happening with our main villain dude, and is he going to come to justice and whatnot. So at this location that Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji were at, they were waiting till morning to go over and investigate this temple that was made, because they believed that's where the end game was going to be. And it turns out that they didn't even wait till it was daytime, because Wei Wuxian was like, I gotta take a walk, because he couldn't sleep because of the things that happened in the last book. And so he gets up, walks, he ends up going to this place that there's like a spell or enchantment, I don't know what to call it. It looks like nobody's there. It looks like it's dark, but there's actually a ton of people inside. So he climbs up the wall to kind of hide in a tree, and finds out that there's a bunch of people in there. And it turns out that a bunch of these cultivators and clan members are digging this big huge hole, trying to find something that was buried there long ago by Jin Guangyao. I might not be saying that right, but he was trying to find something that was buried there, because he believed he could get some things sorted out if he just uncovered this thing that he was trying to find. There's a lot of things unveiled about that character, Jin Guangyao, about why there were a lot of things that we did not know, that he was hiding from his past and stuff, that gets unveiled. And we learn a lot more about his character and why he did certain things that he was doing in the other books, which I never really fully mentioned because I was trying not to do too much spoilers. But what you need to know now is basically that he put a binding on Lan Zhaichen, I think is maybe how you say it, Lan Wangji's brother, and so that he couldn't use his spiritual powers, and so he just kind of had to sit and watch and see what was happening. And so he was kind of he was being held, but in the nicest kind of a way. He wasn't being tortured or hurt or anything, but he just couldn't, escape or do anything because his spiritual powers were being held down. Wei Wuxian is kind of stuck in the tree because he's terrified of dogs, and Jinling's dog appeared and started barking, and so he was staying super still so he wouldn't know. And then Jinling goes and he's like, why are you barking over here? And ends up getting himself captured. And so he is now inside, and Wei Wuxian reveals his position, trying to protect Jinling from being caught. Didn't work, so they're both now caught. And then eventually Lan Wangji is brought back in, and now he's there too. And now they're all here, and we can finally have this situation be resolved. We find out, they finally find whatever it is that they were trying to uncover, and there was like stuff was placed on it. So when they found it, it released this like powder that basically like killed a bunch of people that found it and seriously injured Jin Guangyao. And so that kind of backfired. So now he's injured, and then all this commotion happens and all these things happen where there's like, you know, a bunch of fighting and a bunch of different things, and Jin Guangyao gets even more injured, and so it's like harder for him to be doing what he's trying to do, and so he's basically feeling like he's getting defeated from all of his plans. But yeah, without getting too spoilery about it, we get an ending actually this book is not the whole 5th book, like, well, it is, but it like ends like less than 200 pages, and you get the end. And so then you realize, oh, what? The rest of it is just a bunch of extra stories. Some of them are from the past, some of them are current day, some of them are just some pretty much just love scenes. We get some extra love scenes. So it's just other stuff, bits and pieces to fill in more things, but the main story is ended like less than halfway in this edition. I don't know if all editions are like this. So this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive because it also has a colored comic at the end as well. And so yeah, so we just get a bunch of extra things that if you just love these stories, you can also read all these extras that are in here. If you didn't want the story to be over yet, here you go. You get all these extra little like short stories kind of. Which totally makes sense, because after certain things happened in that temple, and after all the commotion started to die down and they got things essentially resolved with our story, I was kind of like, well, what's gonna happen now? Because that was kind of the whole reason for all these books, was leading up to this moment pretty much, and now it's happened, and so now what? And so it kind of makes sense that the book wasn't all this book, that our story ended earlier than expected. And I think it was a really good ending. It ended very well, in my opinion. Things much more like giving you like this, that was nice, that was good. It's not one of those like cliffhanger endings. It's not an ending that makes you like super mad or upset. It's just one of those thank you for that kind of endings. Like, so overall, I would say if you really like, if you have seen the donghua of this, then I think you would enjoy the books. Like, why not? I'm sure that you would enjoy different types of media of the same story if you really enjoy this story. I am going to be watching the donghua and giving you a video of comparison between the novelized version and the donghua, and then eventually I'll watch the live action so I can also compare how the live action is between these as well. I really think that this was a good story. I'm glad that I chose this one. I mostly chose this one because the picture on the books had like instruments, and in the back it's explained that their instruments are like weapons, and I was like, ooh, I just thought that would be so cool to read about the instruments being weapons. So yeah, I think that's really all I have to say, is that I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed all 5 of them. I think my favorite, it would probably be like the 3rd and 4th ones were like I really enjoyed those ones a lot. There were a lot of pieces in it that I really liked. And then this one, of course, with it being so short and having a bunch of other extras in it, is kind of also its own special thing because of that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.